After exploring new possibilities with a new frontier, or better said horizon, Project Aces decided to return to its roots and ditch the real world setting to return to the world of Strange Real and continue the original storyline. Hey guys, Jehuty here, and I just played Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, a Jehuty Gaming review. So after years of waiting, what fans got in early 2019 was something familiar, but at the same time very refreshing. Old tried and tested mechanics, whilst adding some new weather mechanics that mix things up a bit, without intruding the moment-to-moment gameplay. This review will also encapsulate the single-player DLC, so please enjoy. How does it feel to fly in the air? Well, pretty good for a metal bird strapped to a rocket. Your plane feels very responsive as it soars through the skies. It can be a bit disorienting at first to always know where up and down is at any given time, but you get the hang of things quickly. Yes, some would point out that this game is not that realistic, not enough flares on your plane, and you have so many missiles that even a whole squadron could not carry them together. But this is a game, so suspend your disbelief a bit. After all, it's what makes the game fun. You're mostly never alone as your squadron accompanies you and constantly communicates over the comms. However, that's where all those missiles come into play. You see, your teammates participate in battle, but it's more or less a one-man show. It's all up to you to do 99% of the job. New to this entry are the weather effects. They're more than just awesome to look at. In the beginning, it's just utilizing clouds to avoid lock-on missiles. Later on, we have thunderstorms that can disrupt your instruments, so no locking on with missiles. So either you fall back onto your minigun or you wait till your equipment stabilizes again. These new things are hence more than just gimmicks and bring some variety to the dogfights. It's not all good though, I won't lie, I didn't like the mission with the desert sandstorm. It's on a timer as well, so I had to start from the checkpoint a couple of times. You will understand when you get there. Speaking of which, if there's anything not so fun, it's the checkpoint system. You see, missions can be very intense and up to 20 minutes plus long. In some missions, you get 1 to 2 checkpoints, but in many there are none. For someone like me who's a semi-newcomer to the series, this was a bit of a downer occasionally. By the end of the day, nothing that negatively impacted my time with the campaign in any meaningful way. Now let's talk about some highs again. The boss battles. The boss battles really push you. Just like the mission variety, they come in various different forms, like fighting a squadron of skilled pilots, or maybe just one really skilled pilot. Also, you fight arsenal birds. How cool is that? It's cool, but personally, nothing goes over the Archangel battles. The single player DLC gives you 3 distinct missions to add on top of all of this, that have their own unique quirks as well as boss battles. I found these missions to be quite challenging and wish that more would have been released. Alas, we'll make do with what we have. For your mission progress and how effective you are graded, you are then awarded with points that you can spend on the airplane tree. Here you can decide the paths you want to branch out to and invest your hard-earned points in new planes and special secondary weapons. This means that you can replay missions on higher difficulties to earn more points with which you can spend on the aircraft tree again. The PlayStation version has an exclusive VR mode that consists of 3 missions where you play as Mobius 1. Just a quick disclaimer here, I don't own a PSVR and honestly I would most likely throw up whilst playing on it. I'm told that it's quite well done though, just very short and a bit restrictive on the planes you can use. In addition, there is more optional DLC outside of the Season Pass. As for the purchasing of separate planes, that's on you. I don't really like the idea, but then again they don't push any of these purchases onto you and there are more than enough aircrafts to unlock without spending real world money. However, I can also understand for the plane enthusiasts if there are very specific planes they want to get their hands on. For those that want to go competitive, there is online multiplayer and it works quite well. There are 2 modes to choose from. Battle Royale, which is a Battle Royale in name only, it's just classic deathmatch, everyone for themselves. Of course, we also have Team Deathmatch, which is 4 versus 4. In addition, The one hosting can tweak all sorts of conditions to create variety in their lobby. I'm not very good at this game, so I prefer to spend my time offline. Till, as the kids say these days, I get good. A story for a jet fighter game? Not necessary. But this one isn't bad at all. There are various different questions posed to the player. What are the drawbacks of artificial intelligence? What is a nation and why do we fight for it? Kinda like Metal Gear Solid, but very very light. The story is told through the eyes of a mechanic that is the granddaughter of a famous pilot, and she was flying her self-made plane in the wrong place at the wrong time when the war broke out. You don't play as her though, you play as Trigger. It's a story of two warring nations, so Erusia went to war with Osea, the side you fight for. Despite not having such a big military, Erusia utilized drone technology and used a surprise attack to gain the advantage in the beginning. You then take part in the war as a nameless and silent protagonist, already mentioned as codename Trigger. The story seems functional, but there's more going on, especially for series veterans. The story is hence only as heavy as you want it to be, by delving into the other games or doing some light research on your own. No, you don't need to have played the other games to enjoy this one, however there are few references to them, hence you get a bit more mileage out of them. The single player DLC also adds a bit of explanation and backstory to some of the main campaign happenings, giving you a more in-depth look at some of the politics behind the scenes. However, overall, some of the cutscenes can drag on a tad too long, but it has more to do with the overall deliberately slower pacing. Think of it as downtime between missions. Overall, the world of Strange Reel is very believable, and the story is entertaining enough to keep you engaged over the course of the campaign. In terms of presentation, the game looks and sounds awesome. The aircrafts are very detailed and really steal the show. The clouds and the new weather effects are very impressive as well. Any mission where there's a sunset just looks great. However, flying low to the ground shatters the illusion. You're shown muddy textures and pop-in. Luckily, you don't fly too low to the ground that often. If you have a base Xbox One, be aware that the game then runs at 720p with an unstable frame rate. Other platforms shouldn't really worry. However, we could use a native PS5 and Series X version with crossplay, as playing the game via backwards compatibility only gives you 1080p, whereas on PC you can crank it up to 4K. I like how the game looked, but honestly the musical score is what stole the show for me. For the most part, you have a very soothing music to support the action on screen, and when the skies start to sing in Latin, then you know stuff is going to get real. The track running in the background currently, Archangel, always gives me goosebumps, the good kind though. Ace Combat 7 is a return to form from Project Aces, bringing the series back to its roots while also doing some new things. A demo would be nice for people with skepticism, but the game is discounted nowadays quite frequently. I took the plunge after having mixed feelings on Assault Horizon, and I'm happy I did. I can wholeheartedly recommend the game and also the Season Pass for the single player DLC. That about does it for me. This is your boy Jehuty, and I'll see you on the next I Just Played review.